right, I got the rims back from the powder coater. I did them in a semi-gloss black and they came out really nice. I also picked up a wider kickstand assembly. This was from Piranha Bikes. And I've got the tires. These are the Hide-Now tires. I believe it's a 110/80 that I'm running in the front. And let's see, 120/70 that I'm planning on running in the back. So a little bit wider in the back. On the 3.5-inch rims, it looks like that's about the widest you can run without doing spacers for your rear sprocket. So going to start getting the wheels together. I think I've got all the parts for the rear wheel. I still need to do some work on the front wheel hub and get that painted before I can put that together. So I'm going to be lowering the front of the bike about 2 inches, and I'm also doing 280mm rear shocks, which is also about 2 inches shorter than stock. For these front forks though, I thought that I'd just be able to cut it and drill a hole and be able then to lower it. But I noticed as I cut this, and I just did this with an angle grinder real quick, these are the old shocks that I was going to use as practice. On this side, the inner diameter is pretty big, but on the bottom side, it's not. So I think what they do is drill this down. You can see inside about 1 inch, so that the other part of the shock fits into this, but still has then the overall rigidity of a much thicker wall tube. The problem though is that then once you do this, the piece isn't going to cleanly fit in here any longer. So I again bothered my machinist friend, who, this is a new piece, actually very cleanly cut and bored out the correct hole, with also a perfect hole here for the pin that goes through. All right, before I throw the fork together, I just thought I'd show the pieces side by side. Here are the two refinished legs that are 2 inches shorter than the stock leg. Here's the stock leg. The only issue my friend ran into was, you can see a little bit of marring here. He had to use a special tool to get this into the lathe, since it has the nub here to hold the hub in place. But this is all going to be hidden anyway, so I said that it was no problem. He actually let me know ahead of it before he did it. But again, the cuts here have the exact same depth as the stock ones do, and fit the rest of the spring assembly perfectly. So on the bearings for the rear hub, I was able to move the center collar just enough that I could get purchase on it and hit it with a punch to push the bearing out on the other side. On the front though, I just can't, and I have two hubs, I've tried both, and in both cases I just can't get enough purchase, or the bearings are both just too seized to move out. So I'm going to actually just destroy one of the bearings on this side, then I'll be able to take it out, obviously remove the collar inside, and then punch the other bearing out. I do have replacement bearings, so I don't care about destroying them, but I don't want to do too much damage to the collar because I am nicking it quite a bit as I try to use a punch to knock it out the other side. So let's see if just destroying this bearing is enough for me to get it out and get the new bearings in.